In the early 2000s, when I had a client in Cupertino, I used to drive past the old Apple headquarters, where Steve Jobs' silver AMG with no license plates was parked outside. His words, "You can only connect the dots backwards," have stayed with me for decades. And every time I completed a chapter of my life, it became another dot. And only later, when I look back, I could see how they all connected. Today, I run a humanitarian mission called Wings for Heroes, where we help disabled veterans rebuild their lives through therapy, camaraderie, and flight. And when I look at everything behind me, the accomplishments, the sacrifice, the pain, the lonely nights, I finally understand every dot mattered. The skills I had to learn, the losses I had to endure, the blood, the sweat, tears, loneliness, hopefulness, and shame, they were all necessary for me to be able to do what I do now. Because real humanitarian missions are not run by people in big offices, wearing designer suits and collecting salaries meant for those they claim to help. They are run by people who've been through the fire. People like Henry Dunant, the founder of the Red Cross. After witnessing the Battle of Solferino, where 40,000 soldiers were left dead or wounded with no one to help them, Dunant could not walk away. He went back to Switzerland, gave up his banking career, wrote a book, and founded the Red Cross. Within a year, the first Geneva Convention was signed. But Dunant himself was pushed out by lawyers and bureaucrats. For over 20 years, no one knew where he was, until he was found working in a hospice in Zurich, destitute, forgotten. When I turned 50 this summer, my father asked me if I want to end up like Henry Dunant. But he doesn't know me, because if that's how I'm going to be remembered, I'll consider it an honor. I modeled Wings for Heroes after the original Red Cross, where we do meaningful work and we do it for no compensation. In the first 2 years, I received only $300 in donations, yet I did 100% of the work and self-funded what we needed. I even sold my dream car that we spent 5 years building. Why am I telling you this? Because I've been financially independent more than 4 times, and every time something happened. Sometimes I overreached, and sometimes the world collapsed around me. In my last chapter, after spending years saving a nationwide infrastructure company in Ukraine during wartime, 9 Russian drones destroyed everything in April of 2024. The company, the future for thousands of people, and my life savings overnight. So here I am at 50, starting over again. But this time, I am not chasing money. I'm chasing meaning. My goal now is to leave this world better than I found it. And sharing this story with you is part of that plan. Because in a world drowning in influencer noise and AI hype, real voices of experience, are almost gone. In May of 2025, I went back to Denver, the city where I started with nothing in 2003 and achieved every goal I set for myself. But when I walked down the 16th Street Mall on a Friday at 5 p.m., it was ghosted. I even stood in front of the Republic Plaza, once full of life and people, and I only saw 3 people walk out in half hour. That moment, I realized that if all people are gone, I am dead in the water. I spent the next 2 days in my hotel room, unable even to go for a walk in the city I miss and love so much. And for the first time in my life, I faced an existential crisis. On May 11, I came back to Turkey, completely devastated with no idea how to move forward. But somewhere between jet lag and staring at the ceiling, something in me switched back on. And in less than 2 weeks, I went from hopeful to hopeless to taking massive action, from being lost to rebuilding again. On May 14th, I signed up for podcasting platforms and started sending out my first pitches. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew people still cared about real stories, and I was determined to use all my skills to find those people. Of course, I had doubtful thoughts. Who in the world would invite a guy talking about amputee veterans? Plus, he'll ask for donations. But 45 days later, I got invited to over 120 podcasts, and the reviews that hosts left me really surprised me. I even became the #2 most popular guest on Podmatch out of thousands of its members. Now, once again, I can connect the dots backwards, and I am here to share my life experience with you. Not so you can just become the kind of guest no host ever wants to say goodbye to, but more importantly, the kind of person who reaches big goals in life while at the same time making our world a better place. This channel is for those who want to start over, no matter your age, no matter how hopeless things may look. This channel is for those who value life experience more than fancy offices and flashy videos. This channel is for those who want to leave this world better than they found it while reaching their life goals. What I love about podcasting is that it gives anyone, for almost no money, the ability to be heard all over the world. I hope that just like me, you can speak to people from the US to India and from Canada to New Zealand in a very short time. Even if you have no budget, no studio, or employees. I was able to do all that in only 45 days, while at the same time hosting an amputee veteran for an entire month. However, like any powerful tool on this planet, you need to know how to use it. And that's why I wrote and today launched the book and Believable guide that I'm giving away to you. So before you can get the most out of this channel, do 2 things. Number 1, download and read the PDF. And number 2, come back here and ask your questions in the comments. I'll answer them all. This is day 1. Let's connect the dots backwards together. My next video comes out on Saturday, October the 25th. We will talk about specific things like setting goals and taking action, even if the world is falling apart around you. If I could come to the US at 17 with no English, no friends, no connections, and reach all the goals I did, I'm confident you can do that too. But only if you know the how. And I will show you all the hows I've learned in my entire life. No hype, no sales funnels, just the truth.